Hello again from Art Market Gallery in Tel Aviv, the Israeli branch of Bruno Art Group. We hope that you're all well and we are all start going out from this corona crisis, but we will continue with our short lectures. This time I'm happy to take you all to a trip in a nice village in Italy, Cattolica, and to visit the studio of Erika Calesini, Italian artist that joined our group just before the corona crisis. So as we can see, Erika is using ready objects in her artwork, which means that she is following the ready-made movement of art. To those of you who are a bit familiar in the world of art, when we say ready-made, we all think about Marcel Duchamp, who first started this movement. To those of you who remember, we already mentioned Duchamp when we discussed about Dada. He was one of the founders of the Dada movement. Afterwards, he went to New York to spread this idea, and he took it one step further by his first and most famous creation was taking a urinal and place it as an exhibit, as a work of art. Many artists follows this idea, as well Erika. As we can see here, she's using ready bicycles to combine in works of art. Another very famous artwork from this style is by the bull's head by Picasso, which use bicycle parts. Without further ado, we'll take you now to see Erika in her studio. We wish you to stay safe and hope that all will be behind us soon. Thank you for watching our videos.
Hello everybody, we are in Cattolica, a small town in central Italy located on the lively Riviera Romagnola coast in Erika Calesini studio. Just around the corner is San Giovanni in Marignano, the place where you live. We can say San Giovanni in Marignano is a beautiful village having two sides to it. On one hand, it is the area of fruit trees, good wine, and of the ladies who roll out pasta by hand. On the other hand, it is a great production center for the major brands of the fashion industry. It is here that your career as an artist began and where you have found inspiration for many of your works. Erika, can you tell us how it all started and how this place has influenced you?
I was born and raised in this beautiful area. Since I was very young, I knew I had a strong passion for fashion and I decided very early on that I wanted to become a fashion designer. I collaborated with important fashion brands until I developed my own personal brand, Erika Accessories, which was quite successful at the time.
It came a time when, while maintaining a strong love for fashion, you felt like what you were doing was no longer enough for you. Can you tell us how this happened?
Over time, while working, I realized that there was a growing need for me to work with my hands to follow the whole creative process, from the idea to the practical realization. My dad has always been a great source of inspiration. He is a skilled blacksmith, and I grew up spending hours admiring his ability to work with iron. This insight was enough for me to realize that this was what I wanted to do. That's how my first work of art, The Tree of Lies, was born. Then one day, while I was sitting at home, I heard two bells of the bicycle that were running on the cycle path in front of my house. I started thinking about this extraordinary vehicle, which are perfectly integrated with the surrounding nature without polluting. Bicycles, all infinite story of life and love, linked to the people who ride them. I thought that I could bring back to life the soul enclosed in these objects that are usually abandoned once they break or become old.
Bicycles are perhaps your most iconic works. The renowned art critic Professor Armando Ginesi called your creative work a modern alchemy. We are here in your studio. Can you give us a little taste of what happens, or can you talk us through it?
My master craftsman creates these beautiful wooden canvases, rigorously made by hand, which I then color with enamels and resins. When I create a piece of art, I spend a lot of my time in vintage and second-hand markets looking for bicycles that strike me, that give me a sense of harmony. In particular, I love retro women's models from the 50s. Once I have chosen the bicycle, I start working on it. I cut it and crush it to adapt to their canvas. This process gives me great joy in my mind. The bicycle is already transformed, ready for a new life around the world. Then there is the jacket, the fundamental element for me, the one that gives balance to the work. You know, many of the jacket's place of the artworks are mine. I always forget them everywhere, and for me putting them on a piece of work means saving them from abandonment, tying them to something beautiful forever.
Genesi traces a Dadaist matrix in your works. I think the references to Duchamp are more than evident, but he pushes himself further by stating that your bicycles and your creations have a high moral value. They somehow manage to elevate raw materials and objects that have been abandoned and discarded by giving them dignity and transforming them into works of art. What message would you like to share with the people who can admire your art around the world?
I call my works my girls. They are a direct extension of what I have in my heart. Love for art, for others, and for the environment. Each work always has an element of light or color with which I want to communicate joy, lightheartedness, and love.
This joyful and cheerful aspect is also evident in your work's mannequin legs. They are very funny, I see.
My pieces are always very dynamic and fun, full of joy. It is very important for me to communicate happiness through them. This line is called Beyond the Wall and is made with vintage mannequin legs applied onto enamel metal panels, then dressed. Many characters can be invented. The message of these works is believe in yourself, in your dreams, and courageously face the obstacles that you'll find along the way. These works were exhibited during the Salone del Mobile in Milan, in the Lambrate Design District in Design, where I created an installation of 6 works hanging on the outside wall of the building. It created an incredible impact.
Erika, you mentioned the Salone del Mobile, but in your career there are many important moments. You took part at the 54th Biennale di Venezia in 2011, at the Restart G8 Ambiente in Siracusa in 2009, to name just a few. Moreover, today your works are in many countries around the world: Italy, USA, Middle East, France, Africa. How do you feel about it?
It gives me immense satisfaction. To take my works around the world means spreading my message of joy, lightheartedness, and love to anyone who are open to receive them. For me, there isn't a more beautiful thing.
Thanks, Erika, for sharing your life and art with us. I know you have new projects in the pipeline, and we hope to see them soon. We are coming to the end of this interview. Is there anything you would like to add?
Thank you for meeting me and listening to my story. I would just like to say that it is a great honor for me to be present in the prestigious galleries of the Bruno Art Group in the beautiful land of Israel that stole my heart when I recently visited.